Hi guys! Hi! Okay, basically, let me update you while... Nat, do you want to film me while I talk? Let me update you while... Let me turn this down. Just a little bit. We're watching Bob's Burgers. Basically, I took like a 30-second clip while we were on the bus of Connecticut, but we're in New York. And... Sorry, I missed my lips. Basically, we're here because one, we're apartment hunting. Two, because we're cool and savvy. And three, I don't think there's a three actually.
Oh.
Can you think of a three?
Cause hashtag girls just want to have fun.
That's a really good three.
Looking in my bag.
What's in your bag, Tor?
Oh, too much.
Way too much.
Thoughts on here up?
Love it.
Yeah.
It's so humid and I'm sweating and it's really warm in here, so the longer my hair stays on my body, the longer I fantasize about ripping it all off. So that's my hair down for 1 second. I'm gonna put it back up. Hey guys, hey, it's so sunny, so I'm gonna probably be squinting a lot. Maybe I shouldn't though. Hey everyone. Hey, hi, how are you? Welcome back to my channel. It's been a long time since I've talked candidly to you guys, and you might have noticed that I'm talking into a mic today. Um, yeah, I bought a mic. Is that okay? Is that okay that I bought a mic? I don't know. I feel like it adds a certain, like, right? I don't know. Guys, okay, so I have a lot to talk about with you guys today. I think I've been a little honestly scared to talk on YouTube again. If you didn't know, my channel actually used to be all talking. I used to do makeup videos and I used to just chat at the camera and I felt really comfortable doing that. And somehow over time, I've lost that. I don't really know when that happened, to be honest. I just kind of like became super awkward when I got on camera, and I feel like I'm kind of doing it right now. But I'm gonna ignore that voice. I have a lot to talk about, and I'm gonna look down here a lot because I have a lot of writing, um, things that I wrote, that are kind of gonna keep me on track here. Because if there's one thing about me is that I know how to ramble and I know how to rave. It's been a really long time since I've talked to you guys. I've been mostly putting out the vlog content, as you know. I've been kind of thinking in my mind that I really want to combine my vlogs and my vlog style because I really love doing the vlogs and I love showing my life in an artsy way. I love photography and I feel like my vlogs are just kind of my photography but like longer. So I'm definitely enjoying that, but I've also really missed talking to the camera and being present and also just getting back into like not being so scared to talk online. Because I don't really know where that came from. Like genuinely, I used to be so open with the camera and I don't know when that changed when I became really reclusive with it and I just like got really like I said I just started to get really nervous when I would turn on the camera or like any time that I was just kind of put in front of one. And I really hate that because this used to be my safe space. This used to be the place where like I would let things out. I don't know. And I think I've just gotten like way too in my head about it and honestly it's just annoying. So I just wanted to come on here and like kind of do a hybridization of a vlog while also talking about my experience of moving back to New York, while also showing footage of that transition, because I did film a lot of it, and then kind of just talking about where my head's at the moment as we move forward, because I would really like, not I would really like to, I'm going to produce more content for you guys. So that's kind of what we're doing. I don't know. I don't know where this is going to go. I feel like I'm gonna ramble a lot. Obviously, I'm gonna edit this, so it's not gonna be as insane as me sitting here and doing it. But if, at any point, yeah, I have a lot of thoughts and feelings to share about moving back to New York and also about life in general, because a lot of things have happened. And yeah, a lot of things have happened in my life since we last chatted, since we last talked. Yeah, I've been living in New York for since January. Since January, I think, or December. End of December, I think I moved in. And for those of you who don't know, I used to live in New York when I was a young a young child. And then I moved to New Hampshire, but now I'm back in New York. I moved here again after college. I graduated college last year in May. So it's actually Wow. It's actually been a whole year since I've graduated college. And I didn't really post a lot in college, like at all. I kind of stuck to myself. I got a degree in studio art. So basically a degree in making no money. I really enjoyed it though. I had a lot of fun. I made a lot of good art and I found a passion for photography and for film, and I already had a passion for film, but like I found more of a passion through it because I actually started as a film major in school. So, yeah. And then I did it for a year and I was like I'm going to actually like throw up, and then I didn't. I changed my major. Yeah, I would say that the last few months of my life have been akin to leaving a child in a hot car in the summer. Very sweaty. I'm very, uh, uh, you know what I mean? Like I'm waiting for my mom. I'm in a hot car. I'm nervous. I'm sweaty. I'm pressing my face against the glass. You know what I mean? Like it's just I've been feeling very overwhelmed is basically the gist of that. I've been going through a lot of things, like I said. I mean, I'm obviously going to talk about some of those things, but a lot of them are also personal, of course, which is a whole different ball game. I know I'm kind of coming off immediately as like things are insane. Things are actually a lot better than they were a little bit ago in my life. I think I've actually started to come to a okay spot where I feel like normal again. Yeah, last summer I had a really, if I'm being very candid, last summer I had a very big grandiose plan to come back to YouTube. I was like, okay, I freaking graduated college. Now I come back to YouTube. I go crazy. I film vlogs. I upload them every week. I'm going ham. I uploaded one vlog last summer. Count it, one. I uploaded one vlog and it was the end of summer. I only accumulated footage because I wasn't filming that much because I was working a lot. I was actually working an overnight shift job. I was working an overnight job where I was working with kids, and it was a lot. It was a lot. I loved that job. I really did because I loved my kids and I loved like working with them, but that job was a lot. Like working an overnight job completely shifted, I mean, as it does, it's overnight, but it completely shifted my like reality for a while that whole summer. It just becomes like your whole life because you can't do anything during the day because you're asleep. It's insane. It felt like I was Nosferatu, but without Lily Rose Depp. And no one should ever be Nosferatu without Lily Rose. Yeah, working overnight with kids is kind of like working at Pee-wee's Playhouse, but it's not the 60s and there's no acid, so like the chairs aren't talking, and you know what I mean? Like it's fine, but it's just like where's Pee-wee? I guess in that scenario, I would be Pee-wee, and I don't know if I like that scenario. It became a different sort of ballgame when I realized that it was also over because I had to like kind of reemerge. I had to have my debutante ball back into the world. Um, and it was really weird to come back to the land of the living, if you will. It was very strange because I had been accustomed to, of course, like I talked to people at my job and like I wasn't completely antisocial. Like I said, I was trying to make plans. I was trying to talk to people, but it's hard. It's hard. It's for sure hard. And when I did come back, I was completely changing my life. That's the thing is like that's the thing they don't tell you about quitting your overnight shift is that when you come back and you completely change your life and move to New York, that is also insane. Like plainly, that's really hard to do. And thinking about it in that way is also really funny because that's not even the way that I thought of it. Like I literally had it almost felt like I had to rediscover a different side of myself coming to New York and also getting out of that job because it was almost like that entire time was like a meditative experience for me because of course I like I said I was very involved with the kids and like just because I worked overnight doesn't mean that I didn't talk to the kids like I was very involved but there was a lot of time of course where they were asleep and there was no one to talk to. So I had to do a lot of, or I didn't have to, but I did a lot of self-reflection and sort of kind of came to new conclusions about myself and understood a lot more about myself coming out of that experience just because I literally had nothing but time to think. But also because working with kids changes you. It does, and I think anyone who understands working with kids knows that. It's kind of like being shown like a mirror of yourself as a young person and to like I mean this is like explaining to like people what having connection is. That's what it feels like because of course when you talk to people you're going to learn new things about yourself, but it's specific to younger people, talking to younger people, because it almost does feel like you're coaching a younger version of yourself. And in a way that's very healing, of course, but also it's a little triggering. It's a little triggering. And I think that that was honestly very good for me because it put into perspective a lot of things over my life, as well as just like kind of meditating on my thoughts and on my life in general. First of all, kids are very dramatic, but also that I'm still so young and I'm still figuring a lot of shit out like currently. So, I mean, that's partially the reason why I didn't, make videos is because I was working like every day. But also again just because of so much other things. Um anyway, so that's kind of that. We're going to shelf that, move that over. I also It's kind of hard to segue randomly, but I'm just gonna do it. I was talking to my mom the other day, and I was kind of asking her, like, what did she think that she was going to do with her life when she grew up? Which I guess this is kind of a good segue because I've been thinking about the whole idea of like childhood and aging and becoming yourself. So I was talking to my mom about that concept, I guess you could say, and she actually talked to me about how she didn't really have room to dream when she was younger. I found that very sad, honestly. I mean, of course, her childhood was a little bit more survival based, so it's kind of hard to dream for bigger things when you're like not getting your normal needs met. We somehow got onto the topic of me doing this and she knows I do YouTube. She actually gets on Mom, if you're watching this, you actually it's very funny. She gets on me a lot about not making videos and she's like, "You just got to make, videos of you walking down the street in New York. Like I watch those videos." And I'm like, "Girl, that's not what I'm trying to do on my channel, but like I understand her and I get her and I love her for supporting me." we were talking about, me doing this, and I was talking about how in general I would love to be an entertainer, hence the mic. How I would love to be an entertainer, and she went, "What? You?" Yeah, it's so funny because like one, I've been doing YouTube like my whole entire life, like genuinely. As soon as I knew about YouTube, I've been making videos and, experimenting with stop motion and which is actually funny because I was just talking to my roommate Alice about that the other day. Is like how I was really into creating stop motion, into film, into all of this stuff when I was younger, and it's just kind of like come back into my life in a really weird way, in a really weird good way. Like, mom, yes, I want to be an entertainer, and I just found it so funny that she was like, "You?" Because literally, like, this is a great story example of me one being an attention hog, um, attention whore, but also just kind of serves as like a funny story to go with this topic. Um, I was so let me take you back. I was probably I want to say like 6 to 9 in that age range. And I was at the mall with my mom and like probably my aunt or something. And we were about to go into Old Navy. And if you don't remember, actually, I think Old Navy still does this. They have like those mannequins in the front of the store. I don't know if I haven't been to Old Navy in like years. So I don't know if they still have the mannequins, but they used to have like the mannequins and that used to be their thing. I remember there used to even be ads about that, if I'm not mistaken. And I took it upon myself while my mom was like, "Okay, I'm gonna go in here. I'm gonna get you some like corduroy jeans or whatever." I took it upon myself to be like, "All right, you do that. I'm gonna stand in front of the store and pretend to be a mannequin and see who notice." But yeah, I was just like, "Mom, I'm literally the same girl who used to like stand." And my mom like talks about that story sometimes. So I'm like, "Girl, you literally know that like I genuinely have always been an attention whore my entire life." And not only that, but I've loved to entertain, to prank, I guess. I don't know where the pranking went necessarily in my body, but maybe I start pranking again. Maybe this becomes a prank channel. Thoughts on that? That was just something that I thought to bring up because I thought it was very funny as I'm like coming back into this, I guess, and especially talking in front of a camera. I'm trying to remember that young me who was like, "You know what? I'm gonna stand in front of this JC Penney and I'm gonna pretend to be a mannequin and people aren't watching me. Okay, cool. So I'm gonna start literally making them watch me." I think I squander a lot of potential in myself, and this kind of goes beyond YouTube. And this is where we're going to get a little deep sometimes in this, but like I think sometimes I do squander things for myself because I overthink and because I'm just too hard on myself. I'm too hard on myself and I always imagine like this perfect thing, this perfect video, this perfect idea, this and it's just never that. Plainly, it's just never that and like because it's never perfect, I get so down on myself and I'm like, fuck this. And it's like, bro, that's that's not our that's not the attitude to have, love. That's not the attitude to have. And it's so different from my mentality beforehand, which was just making YouTube videos to make them and to see what happened. And now I'm like and I think maybe even going to art school had a little to do with this because I think I created like a monster when it came to my art and my practice because I learned too much. I did. I learned too much about editing and I learned too much about filming and composition and like I think that there was a lot more beauty to YouTube for me that I hope to get back. But I think there was a lot more beauty to YouTube for me when I didn't know as much, which makes sense. Ignorance is bliss and all that. But I'm just kind of disappointed that I let it get to that point. You know what I mean? Like I I didn't foresee myself ever being someone who would be like nervous to talk to the camera ever because this has literally, like I said, been a thing for me my entire life, even before I knew about YouTube, which was granted not that long because I was born in 2002. So YouTube has been around pretty much my whole life. But before I knew about YouTube, before I had a computer, when I think I got a computer when I turned 8 years old. My first computer. So before that, I would actually film myself just for me, which is crazy. So it's insane that I've kind of like lost that ability based on just perfectionism, and I hate that. I hate it a lot, in fact.